At my age, Brett, nothing means anything anymore to me. I mean, material things.
Yeah.
I found a lot of pictures of my wife just passed away, like, August 20th, 4 months ago. All the things we cherished before, material things, mean absolutely nothing to me. All right, I just save a few best ones I like, and I don't know what I'm going to do with those either. Material things mean nothing.
Yeah.
And you lose, before you're saving, like in Ecclesiastes, if you read Ecclesiastes,
No.
Oh, read Ecclesiastes, 12 chapters, I read it over and over again. Life is vexation and, what's the word when you think of yourself only?
Let's see. It's
Vanity.
Vanity. There.
Vanity. It says at the every paragraph, life is vexation and vanity. After I die, the man is saying, and he's one of the kings of Israel. He says, I worked all my life to make the castle and have the wealth and the land and the armies. And this. I die, and the next person wastes it all. What? What is this?
Yeah.
No one even carries it. His own son won't even carry it on.
So let me ask you this. What does still mean something to you?
Pardon?
What does still... material possessions mean nothing to you. That makes sense to me. What does mean something to you now?
What does mean something?
At 100?
Okay. What means something? I have to narrow it down. It's not to religion, because I already settled that. There is a God.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. We call it God. You can call it Asfaz in an Armenian, and Diu, in whatever language. The all-pervading intellect. You can see it everywhere. How does an acorn become a big oak tree? One little acorn. One little baby grows up to be a genius, like Nikola Tesla, and becomes great. Something. You didn't evolve into that.
Well, here's the thing.
That's where I don't have that evolution of Darwinism.
I hear you. And you said this yesterday, and let me just make this clear so it doesn't confuse the audience. So I'm an evolutionary biologist. My wife is an evolutionary biologist. I, of course, not only, it's a mistake to even say that I believe that we evolved from apes, for example.
That's
me,
okay.
But yesterday when you...
I'm not against you.
Right, of course.
No, I'm for you. I'm glad you have your opinion.
And in fact, I would say the following thing. It would be strange for me at 54 years of age to even correct a 100-year-old person. Whatever it is that you have done, however it is that you have lived your life, you're sitting here at 100, able to come up with the names of historical figures. Yesterday, you were telling me particular pages in important books that I probably ought to read. So whatever it is you're doing works like nothing I've ever seen before. So who am I to tell you you've got something wrong in the way you see the universe?
You don't have to say I'm wrong, but you could challenge me.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
but I wouldn't even do it because the absurdity. Let's put it this way: at a factual level, I don't really have any doubt about the general story of Darwinism. At a practical level, I have every doubt. Does it make sense? Yes, a person can live a good life thinking in this way, but is it the optimal thing to pass along in order for people to know how to approach the world? I don't think we know that yet. There's a big gap between the factual reality of the way the universe works and the information that tells you how to live.
What is the key factor in the universe? What is the key factor needed for it to function like it does? The stars moving in a certain way, the aurora and how it happens, the rhythm in the... What is the key word that would describe how this...
Well,
what's the key word that makes this watch work?
Well, the watch works because of design.
No, I mean, there's harmony. Everything moves accordingly. You can't have the little hand move faster than the big hand because that only takes the minutes. The big hand makes the hour. So how can you, the other way around, I'm sorry. You can't, this didn't grow. Someone made it this way.
Right. Now, that is a very famous argument about whether or not the appearance of design, if one were to find a squirrel, the squirrel has the same kind of orderliness that a watch does. And so this is a very old argument about
Yeah, nothing new. The people who believe in Almighty God,
Right.
call it whatever you want, they know that this didn't happen. It has to be.
And I would put it to you a different way. And again, my thought was not to offer a challenge to you on this front at all, because I don't know what the purpose of doing so would be. But I would just submit to you that as long as we're down this road, that if there is a God, that God utilized the processes of geology to make the world, that God utilized the processes of evolution to make the creatures.
That's your opinion.
Right, of course it
You
is.
know why it's your opinion? You have no other. You're using a human emotion to create an opinion.
No.
Yeah.
What
wait,
I'm so
how do you know that God did that?
because, for example, Darwin was offering a model for how creatures would come into existence before he had any information about how genes were encoded or what they would look like. In fact, it's maybe the weakest part of his entire model was where is the information? How is it stored, and how does it interact when two animals breed? Now that we know where that information is stored, that we know it's stored in the DNA, we have a mechanism to look at the tree of life. Okay? And so each of those genetic spellings, if God had made us each separately, there would be no reason for the morphological pattern that suggests that all of the apes are closely related, that they are slightly more distantly related to the monkeys that are not apes, that they are slightly more distantly related to the other primates, that they are slightly more distantly related to the mammals. There would be no reason for the pattern of genetic spellings to align so well with the pattern of morphological form that we see in the creatures. That suggests a process in which those creatures really do have a history.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Yep.
A lowly worm
Yes.
has to cohabit with another worm to create more worms, right? Let's take a crocodile.
All right, let's do crocodiles.
Crocodile, they have sperms and they have a womb, and they give birth to their babies. And
They give birth to eggs, which they bury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the babies come out, and they're self-sufficient the moment they come out of the egg.
Not quite in crocodiles.
There's no nipple on the mother.
No, but so it happens that I have lived with crocodiles, and I've watched them do this. And so the interesting thing with crocodiles are a very ancient, primitive group, but the mother listens for the eggs which are ready to hatch. And when the eggs are ready to come out, the babies inside the eggs make a beeping noise. Mm-hmm. It just sounds like beeping. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And the mother will return to the nest, and the babies, she will then carry the babies in her mouth to a hidden place on the side of the water, or something under a tree, and the babies will all exist there. They hatch, they're swimming, and she's effectively protecting them because they're pretty helpless when they're small.
That's all built into the genes.
Yes, 100%.
100% built in. If that wasn't the case, you'd have no crocodile.
Right.
You'd have nothing.
Right.
The world would be nothing but trees.
Yeah.
Even the trees do this. They have that same.
In fact, human beings are one of two groups in which there is substantial evolutionary information that is not in the genes. Birds and mammals. That's the two places where this happens in significant amounts. And it happens because parents and offspring spend time together. Crocodiles are an exception. They do that, but there's nothing behaviorally transmitted as far as we know. In birds and mammals, there is the opportunity for mothers, it's usually mothers, sometimes in some species it's both mothers and fathers, but mothers to convey information about how to be a hummingbird, for example. They can convey this information because mothers and babies encounter each other, right? In human beings, this is the most elaborate version that has ever existed on the earth, where in fact a large fraction of what it means to be a human being is actually not in the genes. right? A human being raised without their parent is not a fully capable person. A human being raised by wolves, to take the
But
classic.
how do you know they're human?
Well, it depends what you mean by human.
I mean, well, you said human.
Yeah. No, let's put it this way. If we say, what is this person? They're human by virtue of the fact that they...
If you strip a brown bear,
Yeah.
strip it of fur, everything, right to the skin, and lay it out, not his head, just body, it resembles a human being. A bear.
Sure.
But just naked bear. Legs, they stand up. They're almost like human beings. Human beings will never know the answer, Brett. Never know the answer. We'll never know, because the almighty, all-pervading intellect, which I call God, that word I was asking you, what word will describe, is harmony.
Okay.
Harmony.
Here's the problem, okay? And believe me, I did not intend to get into an argument with you.
I'm not. This is conversation.
I know.
I love it.
Look, I grew up in a home where this was perfectly normal, and I love that you also love this style of interaction. But I didn't intend to go here, but we're here. If God created these creatures intentionally, if God designed the bear separately from designing the human being, then God very much wanted us to believe that they had evolved.
Don't even think that way. You know what you're saying already? He didn't want us to think that way. He didn't take anybody into consideration. This is the way it is. God is not saying, oh, the people will get confused. They'll never know the answer.
Well, but no, follow me a little bit farther here.
Right.
Because if God created us as we are, okay, then God created us so that we would have something called scientists, right? And he knew that what a scientist would do.
But before you say that, and continue, what did God create? How do you think the first human being looked?
Well, it depends.
Just your opinion. I don't know myself.
Depends what you mean by the first human being. It depends what you mean by the first.
Like we are today. You got fingernails.
Yeah.
I got the same fingernails.
Well, but we can go back. We can go back to the first modern human, which would be a couple 100,000 years ago, or we can go back to our ancestors, which were already on our branch of the tree, but we're not fully modern. So we could go back, to Homo erectus, for example. We go back even further to Australopithecines. We don't have all of the fossils, but we have enough fossils to be able to piece together how we got here. Creatures that no longer exist, right? They were outcompeted by their descendants. And in any case, what I would say to you is nobody can rule out the possibility that a God put us here with a purpose. But I would submit to you one of two things.
No, for a purpose, no. God just created. And this is my, what do you call it? My way of looking at it. I don't know for sure.
Sure.
None of us know. We'll never know.
Right.
He didn't do that. All he did was create a place where people or animals, or what do you want to call us, could breathe the air that sustain us.
Yep.
Some could breathe under the water, and they were fish. They have to breathe the air that's in the water, oxygen. I mean, and so without that oxygen, they'll suffocate.
Sure.
And if they don't, okay. And some laid eggs, and some gave live birth, and some had to have a sperm in a egg to fertilize. You can go on forever. All we're going to do is take our human experiences and interpret that our way. That's all we have to go by.
Right.
We don't have. Now, suppose a million years from now, they found a Coca-Cola bottle.
Yeah, you already.
I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah.
And they'd say, "Oh, what is this? Coca-Cola." I mean, what language? They don't know what that means. Like the Rosetta Stone.
Sure.
They interpreted that. They found out a clue. Napoleon, one of his scientists, found that. And anyways, they would concoct a story that this is one of this temple's most valuable piece of ordnance of the. On the altar. They sacrificed they filled it with blood, and you had to drink it. Who knows what they would make out of it?
Yeah, they make a nonsense.
All in their own concept.
Sure.
Of their own experiences.
Right, but the thing about science is that science allows us to take our expectations and discover that they're wrong. That's the one superior thing about it, is that you can have a belief about what something is, and if you do the science correctly, it will actually tell you it's not true. And so the story of evolution is either a hoax perpetrated by a god that wanted us to believe in it, or the mechanism that a god would have used to accomplish the creation of creatures like us, or God really is a story that we impose on this more complicated, difficult thing that we've happened onto.
God's an easy answer.
Not an easy answer.
Yes, it is. He can do anything.
Yeah, but look, I've been fighting a battle for a long time with my colleagues in evolutionary biology. My colleagues tend to view religion as a phony story.
A phony story.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it's laid out now, you mean?
No, in fact,
You mean there is no God, a living
not
God?
only do they believe there is no God, but they believe that people who believe in a God are effectively fools.
Okay.
And I try to explain to them that these belief structures that we call religions, can't possibly be a mistake, which doesn't make them literally accurate. But those are the stories that allowed human beings to accomplish the things that they accomplished.
Who was the god of the Greeks, the ancient Greeks?
Well, Zeus would be the top.
Zeus.
Yeah.
He was the top man.
Yeah.
He was the god.
Yeah. Do I have it right? Is it Zeus or Jupiter for the Greeks?
No, it's Zeus.
Yeah.
And Jupiter was a second in charge, and then the third, and then he had actually saints.
Well, so what you're describing...
The Greeks had Jesus. The Jews had against Jesus. A lot of Jews were for Jesus. So Jesus became the son of God. Jesus became Jupiter. And the Greeks and all the other gods, saints with lesser power. But so you see, mankind is hard to.
But you're telling the same story that I'm telling in a different way.
I'm giving you conjecture. I don't know myself even.
Well, none of us do.
I mean, I'm saying, Martin, is this what you think? Yes, I'm trying to analyze it, and I'm open for. I believe it, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, but the marvelous thing is, Martin, you're 100 years old.
Yeah.
Whatever mechanism you have used to navigate your life has worked really well.
Well,
I'm sure you got lucky. Obviously you're a B-17 pilot.
I don't believe in luck. I never did.
Now, you have experienced
no luck or no random happenings. I believe that everything has a purpose.
Now, this is one of my examples that I use when I talk to my colleagues about the idea that things can be metaphorically true, even if they are not literally true. If a person believes that there's no such thing as luck, that everything happens for a reason.
You can if you want to. It fits perfect for luck.
Well,
it's a perfect word.
I think a person who believes in luck is actually at a disadvantage, even though there is something that I would say is literally luck.
Did you and I meet in that airplane?
Very lucky.
No, I don't think it was luck.
Right.
No, it was meant to be.
Meant to be. Here's the thing.
I don't know if I'm right.
Right, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But
Here we are.
My point would be that a person who believed that everything happened for a reason would be on the lookout for opportunity all the time. Because
that's okay. No, there's nothing wrong with it. But the person who isn't conniving to look, who come to a place, I'll go for that person to help me. I think I like his way he looks. That's different. You're analyzing people. That's nothing wrong with that. Probably the drunk next to him would be the best person to go to because he has more knowledge of what you want to know, but you don't know that.
You don't know that.
But whatever happens to me before, I used to say lucky. Yeah. Random. Chance. All that. I told you, I met that Indian boy behind me. Did I tell you that?
I don't think so.
Okay. My wife was very ill. I took her to India to a homeopathic physician, Dr. Vijayakarr, very well-known man, not some hocus-pocus guy. And so I had to go back. We were in India for 1 year. I had to go back and make my income tax back to California. And so it took me 2 weeks to go and do all that and come back to India again. Well, I never knew on my visa, in a little tiny paragraph, in tiny letter, you'd have to have a magnifying glass, honest to God. I see, honest to God. have the magnifying glass to see what that, you couldn't come back to India again unless you stayed overseas 6 weeks. If you're going out of the country, you can come back 6 weeks later. So when I was to go back, I get to the airport. He says, you can't go back. I said, why? I got the visa. No, you have to be there 6 weeks. You only been there 2 weeks. I said, I know, he says, I can hardly read that. I just know it by experience. He says, all I can say to you is go to the consulate, Belgium, the capital of Belgium, what was it? Le Havre. What is it? Le Havre. No, I can't pronounce the word. Le Havre, Belgium. That's where the United Nations headquarters is. Go to the consulate and tell them your wife is ill, that she's under care. I said, oh yeah, take the commuter train, get there, and they'll help you. I did all he said. Got to the consulate, and the guy was a typical low bureaucrat who thought he was the king. Sorry. I said, please. And my nature is, I say please because I like to say please, but I like to take that son of a bitch and beat his brains out. He says, I'm sorry, but you can't go. It was haughty, like he has control.
Yeah.
A small bureaucrat who's got an American under his...
Petty tyrant.
Yeah. And the other Indians in line behind me, and they've been there for 2 days, 3 days, trying to get through also. And I said, let me use your phone, please. We don't allow anyone to use the consulate phone. What do? You got to go back to America. Stay there 6 weeks, continuous 6 weeks, and come back. But a tap on my back shoulder. Turn around, it's a young Indian boy. He says, sir, I heard everything. Please take my cell phone. Make the call. Get what you have to do. And he's on vacation from Cambridge. He's going to his very, very wealthy family. He's been in school in England. And, I says, thank you. I'll pay. No, pay, please, that's free. Just take it, he says. So I called the hotel. I got the downstairs boy. He knows me. And I said, go upstairs and get my wife. Tell her to get a doctor to get on his letterhead, write that he's the physician and da-da-da-da-da, and that Martin has to be there, so forth and so on. Fine. We got and here's the fax number of the consulate. The fax came in less than 20 minutes. Perfect. And he still was going to act like this, stall me a little more, make me sweat.
Yeah.
And he, I'll give you June 28th. And little did he know that we're going to go home on June 27th anyways, because my birthday is on June 27th. And so I said, oh, thank you very much. So you see, that was destiny. If that boy wasn't behind, you can call it luck.
Yeah.
I don't like to call it luck because it's too easy. One minute, one more thing. I got okay now, right? I'm going back down to the train station to go back to the airport. The train that goes to the airport goes right into the station. The train pulls right in. It's a commuter train, and but it takes an hour and a half to get there. And we're sitting in the train, and there's a girl there, and everybody speaks Dutch, of course, and French. There's an announcement. The girl said, did you hear that, sir? I know you're American. I said, I don't know what they said. He said, this train has been canceled. I said, canceled? I have to go back to my wife and so on. He says, well, let me see. I can go with you. I'll go out of my way to take you there's a bridge has been weakened. The bridge won't hold the train, whatever it was. You have to make 5 circuitous way to get to the airport. You wouldn't be able to handle that. You wouldn't know what to get off, what to get on. I'll take you the first 2, and then from there I'll go to my sister's house and sleep there and go to work tomorrow. Oh, I said, please, thank you. While we're talking like this, walking, a voice behind me, sir, I turned around, short, well-dressed, elegantly dressed. He's a men's clothing salesman in Holland, and only the United Nations people, all that get the best custom-made clothing, and he looked elegant. It was from Ghana, India, China, Africa. Excuse me, folks, 100 years old. And
you're doing great.
And I'll take you the rest of the way, all the way. Don't worry. I'll stay with my sisters and this and that. Oh, I said, thank you very much. And he stuck with me, got me right to the airport, and I would never have been able to do that, not in a million years. So you see, I have to call that not luck, random, chance. It looks like it could fit that category, wouldn't it? He's behind me. That's chance. Why was he behind me? Why was he over there in front of me?
Right. No, I get it. I get it. I think
I have to call it something.
believing in luck is not very useful.
That's right.
It's not.
I don't believe in luck. Art is not luck here. This is
Let's put it
meant
this
to
way.
be.
Let's suppose it's luck. That
Sure,
does
go
nothing,
ahead.
it does
That's
nothing
okay.
for us.
I accept that because it could be right.
Could be right. Still doesn't
sounds
help.
right.
It sounds right, and it's still useless.